let's rewind a little bit to, how you said you and your wife got into the Dave Ramsey teaching, the financial piece. Share a little bit about that story, because I think the most daunting thing sometimes for folks is change. And ultimately, it's changing your attitude, changing your mindset to how you go about living your life financially. And so, what sparked that change, and how can you almost influence others to kind of follow in that path of you will be better off. You just have to trust and kind of pull the trigger now. So how did y'all get into that?
Yeah, so how we got into it is we became engaged, and at that time I was like every other single, where I was just kind of winging my finances, but I was only, I only had myself to count for, right? Now I was gonna have to count for someone else, and then possibly some children in the near future. And I was like, man, I don't really know much about finances, and I probably should. Right. So I was always been a big talk radio guy, because I was a salesperson that was in a car most of the time, and you get sick of listening to music after a while. And I came across Dave Ramsey and just started listening to him. At first, when I first heard him, I'm like, this guy has something to sell. I'm like, what's the big deal? I thought he was like in Tony Robbins or something. I had no idea, but I thought he was just maybe selling CDs or something. Right. And then I found out this guy's actually doing it because he really cares. And not only does he care, he's basing this off biblical principles, right? And I was like, man, this is the real deal. So I'm just going to start following it. That's it. I just decided I was going to do it, and whatever it took, that's what I was going to do. And within a year, we were debt free. We paid off $88,000 in 11 months. Basically, my entire paycheck was going to pay off debt while we lived off her paycheck. And we decided that when we get married, we're going to have no debt from the very start, and we made it happen. So we actually went to Dave's office and did the debt-free scream over the radio and did the whole 9 yards. But yeah, and ever since then, it changed our lives. I mean, we just noticed that we have families around us, and they just have all these financial difficulties. Married people that go to church that are great people, right? Good. They have great jobs, everything. They still have financial stresses in their marriage, and we have none of that. We have our 15-minute meeting once a month. How are we going to budget for this month? I sign off on it, she signs off on it, we execute, we're done. There's absolutely no problems at all.
Has it always taken 15 minutes to do that meeting?
No, it doesn't. The first 90 days is the roughest.
Right.
You're going to kind of figure out how everything works. But after about 90 days, I mean, you kind of figure out what your life looks like and what's needed, and we're prepared. My air conditioner went out last week. It was $3,900 to get the thing fixed. It was not a sweat at all, because we had a home emergency.
Just a plan in place.
A plan, and we just pulled from that account, and now we're going to replenish that slowly, so it's back up to where it needs to be. But there was no, how are we going to pay for this? Where is it coming from? We knew. I mean, there was absolutely not even a conversation about it.
Now, did you guys do the full envelope system with actual physical envelopes?
We did. We did the envelope system when we first started. After a while, we came to virtual envelopes, which is on a spreadsheet. Now, we're a little more technical and detail-oriented than most people are, we found. But I highly recommend, when people get started, doing the envelope system. And then once you get used to how much you're spending, you can probably wean yourself off the envelope system. But that's kind of the fail-safe, right? If it's not in the envelope, you don't spend it.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we started teaching that course. And I think to answer your question is, who are the people that bite and take this seriously, and who are the people that don't?
Yeah.
I wish I could say everybody did. I mean, people have enough initiation to sign up for the course, to say, I need help, or yes, I want to learn. But I think what it comes down to, unfortunately, is the people who don't have enough pain don't change.
Right.
When people come in, I say, hey, what is your status? Are you in crisis, or are you kind of, pre-crisis, or are you doing well? And almost 100%, the people who say they're doing well almost never change, right? They say, well, the way I'm doing it's fine. Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't mean it couldn't be better. It doesn't mean something bad's not going to happen next year that it's going to sink you, right? So, what Dave says is, people only change when the change of staying the same exceeds the pain of change. Mm-hmm. Okay? So they have no other choice, in other words, right? And that's unfortunately what I found. In those people, it's great, because they're serious.
Right.
They're sick, and he says they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when people come in and they're crying and they're mad, I'm like, okay, I'm concentrating on you because I know you're going to do this. Right. It's funny the way that human nature is.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's the thing, too, because it's like I feel like with humans, most of the time, it's you have to see it to believe it. Right. You have to have that first aha moment, that first you get caught out with a flat tire and you do have an emergency fund. And I think that first bubble clicks and you're like, wow, this makes sense. Yeah. And so what was that aha moment for like you and your wife, you know, that first hardship where it came up and you were like, you know what, we're actually not worried about this whatsoever?
Yeah. I mean, so I like to think I didn't feel the pain before
Mm-hmm.
I changed. I'm kind of an exception to that rule because more what changed me is I got nervous about having a family.
Right. Well, that's a whole
Right.
different pain.
Yeah.
Right. You know?
Right. I'm like, I want to be prepared. I don't know what that looks like right now. But one thing I don't want to do is when I know people are relying on me, especially family, I want to make sure I'm not messing up. Right. So I kind of just had the forethought of like, I need to get my financial house in order before I start having kids under my roof and I have a wife and everybody else that's depending on me. So I'm kind of an exception to that rule. I think what happens to most people is they probably aren't that proactive and then they get married and they start buying stuff and then they're just like their marriage starts falling apart because they're like, you spent what on a purse and what's going on and we don't have money for that. And then they come to financial peace.
Yeah.
I think that's probably 99% of the people that do it. That wasn't my story because I was trying to avoid that happening.
Right.
I was older when I got married. I like to think, I'd seen enough other people have bad marriages and I kind of wanted to avoid all the pitfalls.
Yeah. Amen.
And if you don't know, finances is the reason for more than 50% of the divorces in America. So if you're going to have a good marriage, get your financial house in order and you probably have a good marriage more than likely.
Amen. I can't disagree with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not married, so everyone out there, I can't. But listen to Darren; he's making a lot of sense.
He is available though.
Yeah. The buying a purse from we don't have money for rings a little true every time you get that Amazon notification, and it's like, oh, I didn't order that. Interesting. Don't know we need that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, we need to do financial peace.